Insane Daleks are about to escape the Dalek Asylum, where they are kept. The rest of the Daleks call on their greatest enemy, the Doctor, along with his companions, Amy Pond and Rory Williams, to lower the defenses so they can destroy the Asylum. Can the Doctor save the day, along with his companion's marriage, as easily as he can fix his bow tie? Welcome, friends and companions! Sci-fi and fantasy fans meet on this channel for fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music and sport. And we don't do politics and religion. These are not entertainment. And a special place on this channel for Doctor Who, the best sci-fi series ever. Random because we discuss everything involves entertainment, including movies and series, books and music. Random because we will broadcast on non-fixed times, actually many different times. You need to subscribe to this channel to know what time the broadcast is. Random also because we have no guests or different guests. It depends on want to join me in the live stream panel. If you want to join me in the live stream, feel free to contact me via Discord or YouTube and we'll look what is possible. And you can invite me for your channel for a live stream or panel. I want to contribute on other YouTube channels, so feel free to contact me for this. I'm available. I want to contribute to YouTube live streaming, especially for Doctor Who, and also other entertainment, of course, if it's possible, if I know something about. But for Doctor Who, of course, I'm available. I'm available. You can put a comment under one of the videos to contact me, and you can also visit my Discord server, Random Entertainment Channel, Tech Doctor Who. You can find me very quick because I bump the server regularly. So cheers, mate, and have lots of fun. Your host, Enigmatic Joker, and this is the Random Entertainment Channel. And today we do an 11th Doctor story called Asylum of the Daleks. Some general info about this story. Asylum of the Daleks was the first episode of Series 7 of Doctor Who. Stephen Moffat's first script to feature the Daleks as the main adversaries. It also served to launch the beginning of the series' major plot strands. The end of Amy and Rory's travels in the TARDIS, and the beginning of the mystery surrounding Clara Oswald's identity. The episode also saw Rory and Amy's love challenged, following on from Bond Life, with the issue being resolved by the end of the story. This story also had an online prequel. You can find it on most of the DVDs, the Blu-rays, actually. Importantly, it introduced audiences to Oswald as a souffle girl, a moniker that would ultimately gain greater resonance in the series finale. Indeed, from the productions team perspective, this episode marked a major victory in Moffat's war on spoilers, in that the surprise of Jenna Louise Coleman's appearance was preserved for the vast majority of the global audience. Despite several advanced screenings, no major leaks about her presence were known to have occurred in press reports or on social media. It was also an important episode for fans of Dalek design, in that several models of Dalek stretching all the way back to the 1960s were seen in the story, if only briefly. With respect to the BBC Wales Dalek designs, it seemed to reverse the victory of the Daleks, implication that the color-coded Daleks would destroy any remaining bronze Daleks introduced in the first Russell T Davies eras as inferior. Instead, the bronze Daleks were clearly shown to be numerically superior to the color-coded version, and both were shown to be working together in a Moffat-introduced Dalek governmental structure called the Parliament of the Daleks. This was in fact the less televised appearance of the victory of the Daleks' designs. While the bronze Daleks persisted as originally as Chris Chibnall's final story, the BBC Centenary special, The Power of the Doctor. The episode also reintroduced Skara on television for the first time since the 1996 TV movie, showing it's in state of heavy ruin. And this, of course, this new TV movie is a doctor with Paul McGann. So, spoiler alert. We will dive into the plot. If you haven't watched or listened to this episode yet, I highly recommend you to do that. And otherwise, you can listen further, or yeah, you can decide for yourself to be tuned in. Let's go. On Scarrow, a woman called Darla tells of a story about a man who fought the Daleks. However, as the universe now believes him to be dead. Darla hopes the rumors are wrong and that this man will come to save them. Inside a huge statue of a Dalek, she is surprised by Eleventh Doctor, who asks what she has called him. Darla explains that her daughter is in a Dalek prison camp and she wants him to rescue her. The doctor questions as to why Darla is not in the camp, to which she says was because she escaped. However, the doctor points out no one does before touching her face. He pulls his hand back in shock, noting she's cold. Darla wonders why that's a problem. The doctor tells her that it is a trap, and she doesn't even know it. She asks what's a trap, to which the doctor tells her. She is the trap and doesn't know it. At that moment, Darla convulses and sprouts a Dalek eye stalk from her forehead. She is a sleeper agent of the Daleks. With a gunstick from her palm, she knocks out the doctor as the Dalek saucer arrives to collect the doctor. On 2010's Earth, Amy Pond is posing for the camera when her secretary tells her that her husband wants to see her. She remarks that she doesn't have a husband anymore. She walks into a makeup room where Rory asks her to sign the divorce papers, making a snide comment that Amy's job is just pouting out a camera. Once she has signed the papers, he leaves as Amy's makeup artist Cassandra enters. However, it turns out she is also a Dalek puppet, and she teleports Amy away. Meanwhile, Rory gets on a bus, but the bus driver turns out to be yet another puppet, who in turn teleports Rory to the Daleks. He wakes up in a cell with Amy and looks through a small window to see they are in space, with an armada of Dalek saucers accompanying them. Rory vocally wonders how much trouble they're in. The doctor is escorted in by Daleks, saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, Mr. Pond, 11. There are 10 taken to the Parliament of the Daleks, where Amy tells Rory everything the doctor is thinking based on his movements. He's even figured out the two of them are having problems because they are not close to each other. As the Daleks seem stunned, the doctor says it's finally Christmas for them because they managed to capture their greatest enemy. Much to the doctor's surprise, the assembled Daleks don't try to exterminate him. Wondering for what other reason they could have captured him, the doctor is met with a surprise. The Daleks want the doctor to save them, to which he replies, well, this is new. The Parliament saucer brings them to a planet Darks called the Asylum, a place that the Doctor has heard of only in legends. It's a place where the Daleks dispose of those of their kind who go wrong. The insane, the battle scarred, and the uncontrollable. The Doctor learns to his disgust that the Daleks didn't destroy their insane brethren because they find destroying their divine hatred offensive, describing it to be beautiful. The whole planet is automated and surrounded by an impenetrable shield, but the Daleks have detected a signal of unknown origin on the planet. The Daleks never considered tracing it back and trying to communicate with the source. The Doctor traces the signal to a woman called Oswin Oswald, who has been hiding out on the remains of the crashed Starliner Alaska for a year. The Doctor realizes that when the Alaska crashed, it ruptured the planet's shield, leading to the risk of the inmates escaping. A planet's worth of insane Daleks roaming free is something that scares even the Daleks, who captured the Doctor to deal with the threat. The Doctor explains they kidnapped Amy and Rory because their records show he is always accompanied by companions. Because the shield is still strong enough to resist an assault from orbit, the Doctor and his companions will be sent down to the planet to deactivate the shield so the planet can be cleansed of all life. The three are given protective bracelets so they will not be affected by the nanocloud that surrounds the planet and are unceremoniously sent down the gravity beam. Amy is the first to come to after landing and sees a man in a white coat approaching her. Panicking, she runs away, with him chasing after her. The doctor is next to come too, finding a Dalek eye watching him. Also has discovered visitors. Speaking to her via the intercom, the doctor decides to look for Amy and Rory first. Eventually, he and Amy run into each other, and the man, Harvey, reveals that was a crew member of the Alaska. They decide to find Rory. The doctor tracks the radiant coming to a hole in the ground. Rory is below them, in the actual facility. It seems the roof gave in when Rory landed. Because they cannot get to Rory at the moment, the doctor and Amy decide to help Harvey. Reaching the ship, they discover the rest of Harvey's crew are dead, having decomposed into skeletons. The doctor reveals to the confused man, who claims they were alive and well not 2 hours ago, that they have been this way for a long time, a year at least. However, matters get much worse when Harvey remembers he died as well. The god preserved his body, and then a cloud turned him into one of the Dalek puppets charged with keeping the Asylum running. With his programming activating, Harvey tries attacking the Doctor and Amy. They quickly shut him into the storage unit of the ship. The Doctor explains that the nanocloud will transform anything, living or dead, not protected by one of the Daleks' bracelets into one of the staff. And he points out the second part of his explanation. Even the dead are converted, including the dead crew members surrounding them. As the decayed husks of the crew begin to come to life, the Doctor and Amy flee to another part of the ship. However, the undead attackers grab Amy for a minute before the Doctor pulls her free and locks them out. They then notice on the monitor that the zombies have a bracelet. Amy's is missing, meaning she's now in danger of being converted. Oswin contacts the Doctor and Amy, informing them that there's a rope ladder leading down from the ship. Elsewhere, Rory awakes to find himself underground. Oswin seems to him via the intercom and leads Rory through the facility, where several deactivated Daleks litter the halls. Rory accidentally trips on a piece of metal, making a loud noise that awakens one of the severely rusted Daleks. Oddly, it repeats X over and over again, making Rory think it wants the orbs that have fallen out of its casing. And so Rory offers an orb to the Dalek in confusion. However, the Dalek's voice finally manages to unscramble. It's been trying to say, exterminate. Rory runs through the dome room and locks himself in the teleport room on the other side. After Oswin makes flirty jokes, she tells Rory that she'll guide the Doctor and Amy to him. In the tunnels below the ship, Amy questions the Doctor about what will happen to her. The Doctor explains the nanocloud will erase her memories, replace her love with hate, and transform her into a Dalek puppet. Memory is the first thing to be affected, and worse, it's already begun. He's explained this to her 4 times already. Doctor encourages Amy to embrace fear to keep herself human, and so Daleks don't feel fear. They head for the exit, but upon hearing the Daleks outside the teleport room yelling, exterminate, they force back. The Doctor asks Oswin how many Daleks ahead of them as many Amy walks off. She sees people in the room ahead. However, the Doctor, having noticed her, informs Amy her perception is now being affected. She's looking at Daleks. Dalek advances on them, identifying the Doctor. However, once the Doctor taunts the decaying Dalek for having a damaged death ray beyond use, it simply deactivates its self-destruct program in the hopes of taking him with it. The Doctor takes the dome of the Dalek and begins to sonic its casing. It says self-destruct cannot be countermanded. Smirking, the Doctor says he wasn't trying to stop the self-destruct. He was just looking for the reverse switch. And with that, the Dalek is sent screaming back into the room, where it explodes in a crowd of Daleks. He hears the explosion and leaves the teleport room to find several charred Dalek casings. Wondering who killed all the Daleks, Rory sees the Doctor carrying an unconscious enemy. With a smile, the Doctor rhetorically asks Rory, "Who do you think?" Once in the teleport room, the Doctor lets Amy sleep and explains the situation to Rory. Discovering the teleport has get them back to the Dalek ship in orbit once the force field is down. Amy wakes up and after slapping Rory, Oswin points out that anger is the first sign the conversion is become permanent. Amy jokes, "Someone's obviously never been to Scotland," implying she's normally hostile. Accepting this, Oswin asks to be taken back to the Dalek ship. But the Doctor questions her about how she keeps getting the ingredients for her souffles. His companions tell him to put the matter aside. They need to leave the planet before they lose Amy for good. The Doctor then wonders how Oswin is not being affected by the nanocloud and learns that she used her intelligence to create a shield to block it. Leaving Amy and Rory behind, the Doctor sets out to find Oswin as she refused to turn off the shield until they came to rescue her. Rory offers to give Amy his bracelet to keep her human longer. He claims it would take longer for the nanocloud to transform into a puppet. He reasons since it transforms love into hate, he would last longer because he always loved her more than she loved him, referencing the 2000 years he spent protecting her inside the Pandorica as an autumn. As they argue, it is revealed that Amy has been left sterile because of something the silence did to her at Demon's Run. Rory thought Amy kicked him out after deciding she didn't love him. In proof, she knew he'd always wanted children, so Amy gave him up. So he had a better chance at having them with someone else, saying her sacrifice was far greater than his 2000-year vigil. So they then realized the Doctor put his bracelet on Amy while she was sleeping. Amy muses that he probably doesn't need it, and he tricked them into working out their relationship problems. In the meantime, the Doctor reaches intensive care. It houses Daleks defeated in particular battles. All of them battles with his first, second, and third incarnations. Once the Doctor mentions they survived him, the Daleks come back to life and corner him against the door leading to Oswin, intending to enact revenge. The Doctor yells for help as the Daleks close in on him with their suckers. Luckily, Oswin hacks into the puppet and erases all data on him, effectively, effectively making them forget the Doctor. The deranged Daleks quietly go back to their cells and go back to sleep. The Doctor says it's impossible to hack the puppet. Even he couldn't. Oswin invites him to meet the person who did. However, once the Doctor enters her room, he tells her that they have a problem. However, Oswin thinks he is simply right outside her room. Doctor tells Oswin that it's not real. This prompts her to ask where she is. To his infinite sadness, the Doctor informs Oswin that she is a Dalek, to which she denies. However, the Doctor firmly tells her that the room only exists in her imagination. The Doctor explains the rope ladder he used to get into the facility was originally used by her when she was human. Oswin had been captured by the Daleks, and because of her genius intelligence, had been fully converted into a Dalek instead of simply made into a puppet. When Oswin refuses to believe him, the doctor points out that she wouldn't have been able to get eggs and milk for souffles for an entire year because there'd be a limited supply. The shocking truth causes Oswin to remember her exploration of the facility, her capture by the Daleks, and her conversion. Repeating the word eggs, she reverts to a Dalek personality, yelling, "Exterminate!" The doctor yells for Oswin to regain control of herself, which seemingly works as she is next heard crying. In her imaginary room, Oswin cries. Having felt the Daleks' shared opinion of the doctor, she asks why they hate him so much. The doctor explains that it's because he always prevents them from achieving large victories. Oswin tells him the Daleks have grown stronger out of fear of the doctor. The doctor admits that he knows this and has been trying to stop ever since he realized. Oswin tells the doctor that she is lowering the shields, meaning that the Daleks will bombard the planet very soon. The doctor asks if she's fine with dying, to which Oswin states that she fought the Daleks and died human. The doctor thanks Oswin for her help and, on her order, runs for his life. Watching the doctor flee, Oswin says, "Run, you clever boy, and remember." In the teleport room, Rory wonders how long they can wait for the doctor. Amy says for the rest of their lives and they kiss. The doctor arrives and tries getting their attention. For God's sake! Annoyed that Amy and Rory always pick the worst times to kiss, the doctor activates the teleport as the bombardment finishes. On the Dalek Parliament ship, the Supreme Dalek reports the destruction of the Asylum has been successful. However, the alarm goes off. A teleport from the Asylum has occurred. They consider it an attack and prepare to defend. Doctor's voice is heard over the loudspeaker, saying that he is pinpoint accurate with teleports, before leaping out of the TARDIS, calling the Daleks suckers. They demand that the Doctor identify himself, shocking him. He tells them who he is, only to be met with confusion. The lead Dalek puppet, Darla von Carlson, asks, "Doctor who?" As soon the entire parliament of Daleks begins repeating it continuously. The Doctor now realizes that Oswin deleted him from the entire pathweb, not just for the Daleks in intensive care, but for the entire species. He marvels at Oswin's accomplishment and laughs. "Fellas, we're never going to stop asking." Despite their demands to stay there and elaborate on his identity, the Doctor takes off. He deposits Amy and Rory back at their house. Waving goodbye, Amy smiles to Rory and enters the house. She's taking him back. Rory smiles himself and whoops with joy. Rory then calms down when Amy says, "I can see you." In the TARDIS control room, the Doctor is laughing to himself and saying, "Doctor who?" Repeating the question himself several times with joy as he sets the TARDIS on course for his next adventure. And that, my friends, companions, is the end of the story, Asylum of the Daleks. Doctor Who, Doctor Who, Doctor Who, the best sci-fi series. Yes, yes, for more than 6 years on screen. Oh, I love Doctor Who very much. I'm so enthusiastic to do these live streams about the Doctor's adventures. I love the Doctor. So I will name some cast members. The Doctor, the 11th Doctor, is played by Matt Smith. Amy Pond is played by Karen Gillan. Rory Williams is played by Arthur Darvill. Oswin is played by Daniel Louise Coleman. Darla is played by Anna Maria Marinka. Cassandra is played by Naomi Ryan. Harvey is played by David Kayesi. The voice of the Daleks is the famous Nicholas Briggs. Dalek 1 is played by Barnaby Edwards and Dalek 2 is Nicholas Peck. Okay, some world building in the topic of the Daleks. The Daleks have a prime minister, and the Daleks refer to the 11th Doctor as the predator of Daleks. The Daleks have the ability to turn people into their puppets via the use of nanogenes. Time Lords are immune to this technology. Nanogenes, by the way, is a thing that is constantly returning in some episodes and stories. Nanogenes, but that's for another live stream. And the fourth thing about Daleks is that the Daleks consider hatred to be beautiful, and they find it offensive to destroy it. The next topic in world building is the Doctor. The Doctor describes himself as the oncoming storm, and that is also a term that is for another live stream. It's one of the names of the Doctor. The Doctor has many names, but that's for another live stream. Individuals. Amy is now physically unable to have children due to events on Demon's Run. Foods and beverages. Osmin says she's been baking souffles for her mother, despite having no access to milk or eggs. And some world building in music is that the music played by Osmin Oswald is first L'amour est un OC rebelle, then Toreador and Garde. And then the Doctor claims to have played the triangle for the recording of L'amour en Usoy Rebel. That is heard in the Parliament of the Daleks. Another thing in the music, by the way, I'm a big music lover. The music playing during Amy's photo shoot at the beginning of the episode is Feel the Love. World building of planets. Skara is the home planet of the Daleks. It still exists with the remains of a large Dalek-shaped building. That's very interesting. And also, the Daleks have an Asylum planet where they dump the, yeah, quote unquote mistakes. End quote. Then about transport technology. The Doctor brags that he has an exceptional aim with teleports after he teleports himself and the pawns into his TARDIS. And last thing in world building influences that is Stephen Moffat was keen to have each episode of season 7 exhibit the ambition, scope, and thrills of a feature film. For this episode, he was inspired by Die Hard. This met Bruce Willis. So more films of Die Hard. Put some technique. Okay, perfect. Um, some story notes is that this story marks the first appearance of a new title sequence. It contains the same music and time vortex animation as the sequence used for the two previous seasons, but the font of the opening credits and the style of the logo have changed. The sequence appears to have some color adjustments as well. The vortex has hints of green, while the TARDIS itself is a slightly darker blue with vibrant yellow lighting emanating from the TARDIS windows. Footage also has less sharp focus, causing a more dreamlike atmosphere to the sequence. Also, this is the first televised Dalek story set primarily on another planet than Earth since the revelation of the Daleks. Um, okay. Another thing is that we do now some continuity because I explain every live stream. I explain this in depth. Is that Doctor Who stories and episodes are in some to some extent related to each other, are linked to each other, reference to each other, influence each other. Um, it's always an interpretation because every time I rewatch stories and episodes, I discover new things. That's the reason I like this show so much, by the way, because I this Doctor Who is every time I watch an episode, actually, it is new for me because I look for other things in it, and every time I see other things, there's a such thing as some to some sexual continuity in Doctor Who universe, also related in spin-offs like Torchwood, Sarah Jane Adventures Class, and in some way K9 TV series from Australia. And we have also have the in recent we have the Tales of the TARDIS. That is more flashback, but okay, and all the Big Finish and all the comics and all the pros and blah blah. All things in context. There is some continuity to discover, and it's always an interpretation. And again, if I will watch a certain episode or story, there's always something, other things I discover. There are a few things, points to ponder. For example, the Asylum stylistically resembles the city in which the first Doctor first met the Daleks. You see it in the second story on screen, the Daleks, the first Doctor, William Hartnell. Another thing is that Doctor's death is public knowledge across the universe. There is in relation to a TV story, The Wedding of Ritter Sung. Third thing is that the Doctor has previously met an individual whose mind entered a future state. That's a TV story, The Next Doctor. Our third thing is that the Doctor closes his eyes, holds out his arms, waits to be shot. There's a link to TV story, The Parting of the Ways, Evolution of the Daleks, Impossible Astronaut, only to scrunch his face and peek at why he's still alive. Also a link to TV story, The Wedding of River Song. A fifth thing is that the Roaring Minch is waiting outside a box for 2,000 years. And a link to TV story, The Big Bang. Another thing is that on Dalek Asylum, nanogenes turn people both living and dead into Daleks. The Doctor has previously come across nanogenes which altered humans into hostile creatures. You see that, for example, in the TV story Empty Child. And the Doctor dances. That's with the ninth Doctor Christopher Eccleston. Another thing is that several models of Daleks from different points of in history appear. Many of the bronze Daleks, 9th and 10th Doctor met appear. You see it in TV story Dalek, etc. One strategy is Dalek and one or more supreme Daleks of the new Dalek paradigm. And related to the TV story Victory of the Daleks and onward. The damage supreme from which the Doctor took the data core and Ice Talk. That is a TV story, The Winning of River Song. A special weapons Dalek. That's a link to TV story Remembrance of the Daleks. Several renegade Daleks, also TV linked to TV story Remembrance of the Daleks. A few of the early Silver Daleks, and this in TV story The Daleks, The Evil of the Daleks. This is The Evil of the Daleks is a story with second Doctor Patrick Troughton. And the Gunmetal Grey Dalek models. That's also a TV story Day of the Daleks. And TV story The Five Doctors. At least one Ironside Dalek. That's also linked to the TV story Victory of the Daleks. A cobweb covered white and black Dalek TV story Death to the Daleks. A black domed Dalek in the TV story The Evil of the Daleks. And a black Dalek identical to Dalek Sec. It has a link to TV story Doomsday and Daleks in Manhattan and evolution of the Daleks. So, another thing is that the Daleks in the intensive care section of the Asylum are survivors of encounters with the Doctor on planets such as Spyrodon, the TV story Planet of Daleks, Campbell in the Daleks Master Plan, and Aurelius TV story The Chase. Vulcan TV story The Power of the Daleks, and Exilian TV story to Death of to the Daleks. Another thing is that the Daleks have successfully captured Doctor Stardust before. You see that in this TV story Johnny's End, as have others. For example, TV story Blink, Utopia, The Poison Sky, Amy's Choice, and Doctor's Wife. Another thing is that the Doctor has says that when the force shield is taken down, the entire planet will get explodey wody. This is similar to the Doctor referring things as timey-wimey. And there's also a link to TV story Blink, Spacey Wacy, TV story Doctor's Wife, or Humany Womany in in the TV story Christmas special The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe with 11 Doctor and Matt Smith. The other thing is that Doctor brags that he has an exceptional aim with teleports after he teleports himself and upons into the TARDIS. Rose Tyler had previously remarked that the Doctor was good with teleports. We've seen it, for example, in the story Boomtown, the Ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston. Dalek in prison camps are mentioned, and the Doctor expresses some familiarity with them. There's a link to Destiny of the Daleks. Another thing is that Dr. Storm to the Dalek about it being useless without a gun echoes a similar line said by the Ninth Doctor in TV story Dalek. The Daleks have requested help from their most bitter enemy before. Linked to Evil of the Daleks and the audio story The Juggernauts. The 11th Doctor, Shin, is once more the subject of amusement. Linked to Doctor's wife. Once again, the Doctor openly expresses to the Daleks his extreme disgust and hatred for them. Linked to Dalek and Victory of the Daleks. The Daleks previously converted humans into Daleks on the planet Necros. That's in the TV story Revelation of the Daleks. And after the Dalek Emperor escaped from the Time War. That's in TV story The Parting of the Ways. Sideways, the Daleks also at one point planned to create human Dalek hybrids. See that in the TV story The Evil of the Daleks. While the Cult of Skara later succeeded to an extent in doing something similar. And we see that in TV story Daleks in Manhattan and Evolution of the Daleks. Things that Rory carried a small torch before. That was in the Vampires of Venice. The Ninth Doctor once gave a disc to Mickey Smith that would erase all data of him from the internet in a similar way that Oswin deleted all memory of him from the Dalek Podweb. That is in TV story World War III. Another thing is that this is the first interaction with a time echo of later companion Clara Oswald that the Doctor actually remembers, having previously been in proximity to similar echoes in his previous incarnations. Linked to TV story The Name of the Doctor. Thing is that the scenes immediately preceding the Doctor's arrival on Asylum are similar to the first Doctor's arrival on Myra. We see that in the TV story, the Daleks Master Plan with William Hartnell. The Doctor retrieves Oswin whilst leaving Amy and Roy with a means of escaping if he is delayed. Similarly, the first Doctor ordered Brett Vian to leave him on Campbell if he is delayed, returning the Terranium. We see that in the TV story, the Daleks Master Plan. Both humans and silence are converted into Dalek puppets during the siege on Tenzalor. We see it in the TV story, The Time of the Doctor. And last thing is that the Daleks would later regain their information of the Doctor after they attacked the Papal mainframe at the siege of Trenzalore, where they converted the Mother Suspirius, Tasha Lem, into a Dalek puppet and harvested her memories of the Doctor. It's also linked to relation to TV story The Time of the Doctor. And that, my friends, is all I have to say about this story. Ready for commercials? Let's go. Sci-Fi and Fantasy fans meet on this channel for the fun chats about the beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music and sport, and a special place on this channel for Doctor Who. Random, because we discuss everything that involves entertainment, includes movies, series, books, and music. And we don't do politics and religion. That's not entertainment. Random, because we will broadcast on non-fixed times, actually on many different times. You need to subscribe to this channel to know what time the broadcast is. Random, also because we have no guests or different guests. If mensen want to join me in the live stream panel, or if you want to join me in the live stream or panel, if you want to join me in a live stream panel, feel free to contact me via Discord or YouTube and we'll look what is possible. And of course, you can always invite me for your channel, for your live stream or panel. Feel free to contact me. Discord server is called Random Entertainment Channel Tech Doctor Who. So, cheers, mate. Have lots of fun. Your host, Enigmatic Joker, that's me, on the Random Entertainment Channel. For now, have a nice day. Bye bye. See you later.